5:31 p.m. Welcome, as I said. I will call this meeting to order. We will take roll call.
Dan Hansen here.
Dasso here.
I've been here.
Matt Price here.
Dylan here. Nikki Conrad.
Megan Secor here.
And then who do we have online?
Rachel Lewis.
All right, confirming that we do have a quorum. Thank you very kindly. Next up is to approve the previous meeting minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction of Brian instead of Brandon Hitchcock. Yes.
My apologies.
That is on the third page.
Third page.
Second. You moved it. I seconded
Oh.
it.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? Unless you want that name. No, okay. All right. Well, yes, you have. I've seen the footage. All right. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Item 3, approve the meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the agenda? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Item 4, hello. Item 4, discuss EMS coordinator jobs, interviews, and act on next steps if necessary. All right, Matt, do you want to go or would you like me to start, Danny?
Oh, here. Okay, I'll go.
That's you. I'll
Um,
talk enough.
at some point that in recent history, since last meeting, we left last meeting on the topic of the EMS coordinator. We left the last meeting making a committee to see whether we should continue with that, or if we didn't continue with that, what it would look like. And we also said that we would interview the remaining 2 candidates, I believe, that were on the table. I was a part of the interview side. So we tried to interview both. One ghosted us, never heard back from him. So we interviewed Scott Richards. That interview went really well, I thought. Scott is currently a life flight medic. Don't quote me on this, all of his accolades here, but he's currently a life flight medic, and he teaches paramedic for DMAC in Des Moines. And what he does mainly is the Des Moines Fire Academy. So he deals a lot with that side of things, but he's been a fire medic, been in EMS for 25 plus years, been an EMS director, been both in Minnesota and in Iowa. So he's been kind of around quite a while. So I thought the interview went well. I don't know what you guys.
We made a point to have Matt there, Chief Price there, Dan there. We had our the county's director of HR there, and I was there as well, so that we had a good mix of questions. Obviously, I'm not going to know technical questions about EMS, but I do know I do know questions about culture, what we expect from the county side. And then Ted, who is our head of HR, he knows obviously human resource questions. So I thought we had a good mix of people there to be able to ask him the pertinent questions that were needed to get a good read on who he was and if he would fit into the role. And I won't speak for everyone, but according to me, he knocked my questions out of the park, which I was really excited about, because when you get, one really good, one candidate that you're interviewing, you kind of go, well, you could go either way. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised. Questions about him or the process that we went through?
Maybe, I'm just listening.
Dr. Lewis, do you have anything? You were there too.
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry, Dr. Lewis.
She can-
Yes, goodness sake.
She was also a part of it. So
I mean, I can just say, I think things went really well as well. I think he's got a vast background, and a very diverse background, and could bring a lot to the community, to help us get what we need for essential service.
Right.
One of the things I liked about Scott was the fact that he can, he's teaches class, he teaches paramedics, he teaches EMTs. So as far as if we need hours, he can teach those classes, come to our buildings. That's pretty handy for us as volunteers. And there were several things that I did like about the interview. That was probably one of the main things for us.
Do the EMT classes, I'm assuming you have to pay on to come and teach those classes.
Well, they go to, for example, if they go to Iowa Central or VMAC, they can go either place. I've got two at Iowa Central right now, halfway through, and I have one that just finished in Pasture National.
But you do have to pay for those services.
Yeah,
And that with this Richards teaching those classes, that would be saving.
well, what he would teach, I'm not sure he'd be teaching that, but what he would teach, he'd come in and help us with our hours. We have to have 20, like EMTs have to have 20 hours every 2 years. And he'd help us get those hours. He also mentioned that he would be working hand in hand with the Iowa Central instructors to see how they could help, how he could help or they could help.
Did it seem like he was confident in the role and
Yes, yeah.
the,
So the question was asked to him, as we all know, that we're creating this position, correct? And that's what really intrigued him and what he really liked about it. Is that, and here's the thing that I liked about it, he's not from around here. So he doesn't know who Ryan is, he doesn't know who I am. And he comes in with an open mind of how things would flow.
Additionally, we let them know, basically, this is not just a new position here in Webster County, but essentially a new position in the state. And that we said, no pressure, but a lot of eyes are on this, and how we've talked about this ad nauseum over the past year about how eyes are on us and how we go forward with this. And is that sort of pressure something that he would be nervous about? Is it something that he would kind of shy away from? And he actually said that it's something that excites him about the job, that he would be able to essentially work with us to form this role and put things in order. He was very about structure and organization and planning, which was great, because I personally think that's a huge part of this role. The one part of the role that he did say that he has the least amount of experience in would be claims and, the finance part of it. But that's, part that can be, that's the part, probably the easiest part that can be taught. You guys know better than anybody, the technical stuff that's harder to be taught. So, yeah, and he nailed the culture questions. One of the questions I asked was essentially, you're serving two masters, so to speak. You're answering to this council. You're also liaising with the Board of Supervisors. And so how do you do that? How do you manage all of the personalities that we have here, in addition to all the personalities that you have at the Board of Supervisors? And the answers that he gave and the specific examples of how he has done that in the past, in past roles, was very impressive. And he didn't flinch, and he walked us through, and Danny said this too, he walked us through specific examples and created the visual in our mind of how he actually went through this. And every single thing he said just hit exactly what you would want to hear. And it did not in the slightest bit seem forced or rehearsed or fake. It just seemed very genuine and
One of the things I asked him, I said, you're not only gonna work with free transport services, you gotta have with responder services. How would you handle it? And I thought his answer was very good. He said, the first responder services are the main cog in the wheel, right? You're the first ones there. Then, other than, then we show up and then, so, I thought he handled that really well.
But do you think that he'd be a really good communicator too? When you mentioned the transport services, and he's good to visit with and contact and.
One of the questions we asked, why don't you walk us through a scenario that didn't go so well on communication?
yeah.
And he gave us an example of a life flight situation where he walked us right through it and you could just follow. There wasn't anything made up that whole. And he just says you need to communicate.
How about you guys get a chance to talk salaries, or is he comfortable with kind of what we had to offer, or is that not completed yet?
He was he's at the high end of what we thought,
All his credentials and stuff, that's kind of,
but he's still, he's within what we advertised. So,
I was kind of surprised by it, to be honest. But
there would be some flexibility in his scheduling. He is looking for a full-time job. He has his family in Ankeny, and I know we've talked some about that, about the benefits of having somebody who lives here in Webster County versus, what Danny said earlier about having somebody fresh come in. And, I kind of go back and forth on that a little bit. And I thought real long and hard about this, and I woke up again at 3:30 in the morning thinking about this today. And from what my 3:30 in the morning brain thought was, I want the right person for the job. I just want the right person for the job. It's a big role. It's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of eyes on this person. And I just want the right person in there. So what other questions do you have?
following up on that, I mean, he's pretty comfortable with commuting then. I mean, he'll have a pretty flexible schedule. And he'll commit to what he needs to do here, but still, he was okay with commuting back and forth then.
We talked about the number one priority, I guess, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, was learning the financial side of it. So he'd be based out of here, for quite a while, learning Crystal's job, getting, the bills paid, what have you, submittals and so, and
yeah, and I think he told us too, he does a lot of covering for Life Flight, so he's got to drive from Des Moines to Audubon or to here and stuff anyway. So he's pretty used to driving back and forth and that kind of thing anyway. It's what he made it seem like.
He checks a lot of boxes that we were looking.
Yeah, and he even told us that his intention is this would be his only job at that point. Like obviously he's got teaching things going on and he's got Life Flight and stuff, but I think his intention is quit all those things and just do this, focus on this. So we would have his full attention then for that.
We did have Ted talk to him about what the county's benefits look like, what the pay structure looks like, the salary, and he was amenable to that. I think if we were to recommend him for approval to the Board of Supervisors, I think there would be some question on what is the word? Like accountability, like who directly would he report to? What is the structure of that look like? But I think we also have plenty of time to figure that out. But it would be nice to really get into the nitty gritty of that with him. And I really think getting into that with him will be key because again, we're building this job.
Some of it we won't know until we get there either, you know, so. Be flexible.
Do we need to talk? I know we had another piece of this. Do we need to talk about that before we make a decision? Or what's everybody feel like? I know we talked about having the other committee explore like what it would be if we don't have a coordinator, what we would do. Do we want to explore that still, or do we want to just try to get a coordinator? I think that's the next question. I mean, it's kind of down here on item 6, but I don't want to jump around too much, but you know, I don't want to violate the rules of order here.
My opinion is with guys the committee came up with, and I don't think there's we even discussed Plan B right now. I just think we go with Plan A that we've always kind of hoping in a perfect world we would get. And it sounds like you found the candidate.
Understanding the subcommittee was formed in case the interview didn't go well.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we covered our bases.
And I'll be honest, I walked into that interview like, oh my gosh, please, and walked out of the interview going, I don't know how we pulled that off because it was like a unicorn walked in. So I was very, very pleased with it. Correct.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Scott Richard from this board, and it goes up to the supervisors for final.
Second that.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, discuss 28E agreements and act on next steps if necessary. This is right back to you.
Okay, so next step. First of all, we got Farnville and Stratford finished. So that means every department in the county now has their base agreement, whatever you want to call it. So that's a win. One thing to note on that, now that everybody's kind of covered for that, Crystal asked me to make a note. We're going to go back to September 1st of 25 to pay claims up until now, basically. If you have your invoice, check that you wrote, basically you had to have paid for it and received it after September 1st is what kind of we're using for the cutoff. So if anybody has stuff they want to go back to a couple months ago and get paid for, that's an option too, since this did pass actually, like, is it a year ago to today? Something like that.
Yeah.
So we've been past a while, but we can go back until in this fiscal year, we can pay for. So she wanted me to make sure that got announced. So. Correct. EMS related expenses. So bringing that rabbit trail back. The next step for the 2080 agreements is I'll call them the Section L agreements for the large purchases. That was something that we agreed with the supervisors back and forth on for the bigger purchases, the buildings, the wages, those sorts of things, apparatus. Doing separate agreements for those big things so that they can be paid easier, I guess would be the way to say it. So we have worked through creating that. I sent the board the rough drafts. Each Dayton Gallery and Fort Dodge have the draft. I talked with County Attorney Driscoll this morning. He's okay with moving forward and recommending those up the chain. They're pretty simple. There's not much to it other than what we've already kind of said we were going to do. So, I guess we're at that point now. We're actually getting one more step done. So any questions on that and from anyone, any input? Basically, we're just trying to keep on keeping on with what we were going to do all along.
We'll approve them. They'll go to the board of supervisors
Same as last.
next week, and then they can go out to the departments after that, correct?
If we get a motion and we vote to approve them, yep. Yes, correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2080 agreements for the 3 departments.
Appreciate it.
I'll second that.
Right, I do have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none and hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, the motion carries. All right, item 6, subcommittee or subcommittees to report and act if necessary. Do we have anything to report on any subcommittees?
So, Barb, Dan and I met, almost 2 weeks ago now, I guess, and talked about, trying to compensate someone for paying the bills, for the last few months for us, because since we didn't have a coordinator quite yet. I don't know, last I'd heard we were waiting on Darren to see if we needed to post that or if we could just pay Crystal, who's been doing it. And I don't know if we heard on that yet or not, but I guess from us, our proposal would be to pay Crystal or whoever, if we have to assign it. We propose $1,600 a month for the time that they're working outside of their county duties. And then, we're also going to look at backdating that to January 1st, kind of when she started doing it. So that was a proposal from our subcommittee.
The question we do have that we don't know yet, that is Shauna's department gonna, until the coordinator accepts, until the supervisors accept and the coordinator accepts, and then he learns the finances, will it be the auditor's office that now starts doing all the
Okay.
pay? It won't be Crystal.
I think that's a discussion that needs to be had between the Board of Supervisors and the auditor's office. Yeah, yeah.
Bring it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do we want to make a motion to recommend that to the Board of Supervisors at the next meeting? Well, first of all,
Yeah.
the question I always have is that in the budget? I mean, can we afford it? Is it in the budget?
Well, basically, we were looking at using, because we hadn't hired a coordinator yet, and we have a needs assessment allocation in our 28E that those few dollars could be moved from the coordinator administrator that we hadn't hired yet over into that department, because it was all EMS, it was all essential services duties that were performed. And so our committee thought that monies would be okay if it's approved by the supervisors to use that to pay, because there'll be oncoming more monies to pay the new coordinator administrator if they decide to take that. So
Yeah, I follow you.
Yeah, I mean, we're 8 months into into the fiscal year, and we budgeted for a coordinator and we don't have one. So yes, it should fit into the budget.
Okay, there would have to be a caveat that there's sometimes that things cannot be transferred. So, but that would be something that would be figured out at the Board of Supervisors level. So
And we talked to, like, it could be canceled at any time. So once Scott is up to speed and doing it, then it's done.
Okay, so then would you want to put that in the form of a motion to recommend it to the Board of Supervisors at the next meeting? Todd?
Sure.
Todd's thinking out a word in here, aren't you?
So the proposal is to pay, I mean, do we say the name or a person?
I would say a person.
The proposal would be to pay a person to run financials for this advisory committee, $1,600 a month, prorated back to January 1st. And could be canceled at any time.
Oh, no, not yet. We have a motion and we would need a second first.
Second,
Okay. Any questions or comments from this table first?
We kind of took the dollar amount that we were getting from Shauna and from Crystal, and then, so it was, I don't remember, $20 or 20,
20, we figured, well, 20 hours.
it's like 20% of the coordinator's hours and 20% of, roughly 20% of that salary is where the 1,600 came from.
Just say who you are and where you're from.
Sean Abrams, Fort Dodge, Iowa. Auditor's office. I just want to speak a little bit about how, if we would pay that person, there is a, if we would to contract it, there is a top dollar of $5,999.99 that we could pay her tops because of the relative. She is a employee of the county, and we just did find out in our audit that we had that that is the max that you can pay an employee that is also going to work on contract
Total?
for fiscal year, or it goes into bids.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know how far out we're planning. I mean, if it was January to, I don't know how long that would last. What was that?
3 months would be 4,800. So we
Okay.
can only
Right. And we're kind of there already. So I mean, that's a thought too. But if we, get moving on the other act, maybe it wouldn't be such a big thing.
that would take us through March.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, because I don't know if he.
I think we just let's let it ride, let the board above us talk about it, see if it's even where it's going to land, and then we can come back to the money if we need to adjust on that. Because this might be too, I'm what if, but like, what if for whatever reason now Scott decides to disappear too, we might have to do something more permanent too. So let's get him accepted, let them talk about it, and then come back and see maybe the details of the whole thing. I'm just talking out loud.
It may take him a month or 6 weeks to figure what he's doing and that. I mean, I'm just saying.
Or I mean, could you, on his end, if he can't, could he go start like part-time, and then, I mean, if he can't do his other, put a notice into his other places? What was the thought?
I think you're right, though. I think with this new information, maybe it's best to kind of think about it.
Okay. I just don't want to, be at the end and there we are. Yeah, we just found it out too.
When it comes
Last
time,
week.
comes time to training Scott, I mean, would it have to be that one person, or could that be supported elsewhere in the auditor's office?
I'm betting, well, probably, I would bet we could probably do it in there.
Maybe that's more of a question for the.
Yes, it
Yeah.
should be the
I mean,
auditor's office.
Because we have a claims,
Yes.
Clerk now.
Crystal needs to be doing budget and finance.
right?
Understood.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Shauna. So do we want to then pull the motion in the second? Todd, what do you think? You're okay with pulling your motion? Are you okay with pulling your second? Okay. Okay. So we'll just kind of process that information and then maybe next time we meet, we'll have more to go on and, okay. What was that? I'm sorry, what was that again? How much was the tops?
$6,000.
Yeah.
1 penny. Got it. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. Anything else under item 6? The little loop we got there. Okay, Megan? Yeah. All right, then. Item 7, open discussion on items not on the agenda. Just got to say, this is exciting. We're actually moving stuff along. Think of that, a year later. Anything else? Dr. Lewis, do you have anything?
No, I do not.
Okey doke.
Some of the money's flowing already. Some of the things being covered. And it's
Yes.
working out good.
Yeah. Dan, I got claims on my desk one day and I was freaking out. I texted him right away and said, "You're going to start getting some money, pal."
I was working at. Oh, and, saying, are you finally getting your money? And I said,
Aw. Good. Okay. Anything else? All right. Item 9, next steps and action items. Actually, you know what? I want to say something at item 7. John Garrettson, unbeknownst to probably everybody, maybe not tonight, but usually he will come in and he opens the doors and at the end of the night, he walks around and checks all the bathrooms, makes sure there's not any creepers hiding out.
Got a lot of those around here.
Well, some of them are on this table.
Very thoughtful. What?
But he does it, and I just wanted to just recognize him for doing that. He wouldn't have to do it, but he does it anyway, and I just really appreciate that you do that. Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
All right, item 8, next steps and action items. When next steps are, we're going to put some stuff on the agenda. We're going to get you some stuff for Tuesday's agenda. We have the EMS coordinator hiring. I believe what we'll do is go through Ted for that. So Ted will put it on the agenda. Yep. I'll send him this tonight. And then 28E agreements, you will have them and you'll send them over to Shauna and then she could get those on the agenda too. I think those are the 2 things, right? And then our next meeting, when would you like to meet again? Oh, yeah, there's that. Uh, we'll have Ted call. Okay. Great. Next meeting, when would you like to meet again?
I think we should give ourselves a little time now.
Yeah. We talking April?
I don't know.
Or
Trying to think, we shouldn't need any, trying to foresee if we need to do anything like
I
that's.
mean,
what I'm trying to see.
unless the board rejects our hire.
Yeah.
But
Or
I
he
don't
does.
know if we really even need to meet after that. I mean, he was the only option, so.
well, we can set an agenda like a month out, and if we feel we do need to meet prior to that, we can publish it and let folks know. What you think?
8th,
E?
Take on part of getting hold of him and, okay.
Yep. How does the 8 work for everyone? Okay, does someone want to make a motion?
second,
Okay, do I have a second?
second,
All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion carries. All right. If there's no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, awesome.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion carries. We are adjourned. Barb, look at that